Hi everyone, this is Abhinav from Phone Bunch and today we are reviewing the Micromax Canvas A1. It's an Android One smartphone featuring a 4.5-inch FWVGA IPS display, 854 by 480 pixels, 1.3 GHz quad-core MediaTek processor, 1 GB of RAM, running Android 4.4.4 KitKat right out of the box, available for about Rs 6499. On the left of the device you can see there's absolutely nothing, but the rounded design of the phone is clearly visible. At the top, 3.5mm audio jack. On the right, you have both the power lock and lock button as well as the volume rocker. You can see that the power lock and lock button is a bit small and it's a bit recessed as well. So it's a bit difficult to press in that respect. Now coming to the bottom, you have the primary microphone, space to open the back cover and the micro USB data syncing and charging port. At the back, you have the 5 megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash and you can clearly see the camera hum. And does get scratched very easily. Micromax branding, Android One branding, and at the bottom you have the speaker grill, which is again round, just like the front earpiece. The phone feels really good to hold in the hand. It's quite thin as well, considering that this is indeed a budget device. This is a very pocketable phone. You can see both buttons are reachable with just your thumb. You can easily operate them as well. Now, I don't have necessarily large hands, but you can see that I can reach the extremities of this display. The bezels, however, in the front are a bit large, but more or less it's meant for single-handed use. Opening the back cover, you will be able to see that it's actually quite sturdy, doesn't bend or flex that much, and there's no flex, especially when it's on the device. The buttons are on the cover itself. You have two micro SIM card slots. Either one can use a 3G network, a micro SD card slot, up to 32 gigs of storage, and a 1700 mAh battery. So that's pretty much all on the inside. A very snug fit for the battery there, as well as the back cover. There's no flex, as I've said earlier, and the device is built really solidly. Coming to the front, you can see the notification LED just beside the round earpiece. It's glowing green. It either glows green or red, but not when you are charging. It's just for notifications. Then you have a 4.5-inch FWVGA IPS display, 854 by 480 pixels, on-screen buttons, but the bezels are quite large, especially considering the buttons are on-screen, 2 megapixel front-facing camera with proximity and light sensors. The display does have good viewing angles. There's not much distortion, brightness or colors. It's a bit dull, I would give it that. The colors do appear a bit undersaturated at times. The brightness levels do hold good and the display is visible in direct sunlight as well. The touch response is also quite good. Coming to network and call quality, we didn't have any major issues with getting our calls through. Moreover, the call quality is pretty decent. The loudspeaker as well as the earpiece are quite loud. There was no added noise due to the smartphone, no echo as well. Now, being a dual SIM device, you do have SIM card management here. So you can name your SIM cards. You can choose which SIM card to use for calls, mobile data, as well as for messages. But that's not all. You do have Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth, as well as USB tethering available. And GPS is also available on this phone. You can see right there, we have set it up on high accuracy mode. And it's able to locate really quickly, especially when you are in open areas. Now you also have something called caller ID by Google. So information, if available about a particular number, will be displayed directly, somewhat like Truecaller. Now let's jump to the camera interface. This is the Google Camera app. You do have touch to focus available here. It does work quite well. You have some toggles on the right. Switch to the front-facing camera, turn on or flash, grid mode, HDR. You can also take a photosphere, panorama, a lens blur shot, which is somewhat like what DSLRs do. And you can record up to 1080p videos. I'll just show that to you as well. So let's get into settings. Resolution. You can see that it's a 5 megapixel camera at the back, 2.4 in the front. The back camera takes decent 1080p videos. The front camera can take up to 720p. Here are some image samples. The first one, you can see that the color actually does look good, but most of the times the color appear a bit dull, undersaturated in the images. There's one peculiarity with Android One devices. You can't use the camera until you insert an SD card, and the Photos app is the default gallery. Coming back to image samples, on the right you have the HDR mode image. Now it's actually not that effective. Now in bright sunlight you can see a lot of detail is captured with very little noise. Now this is a macro shot. Again, good amount of detail captured, but there is some smoothing going on here. Focusing does take a little bit of time, especially when you are trying to take macro shots. But the camera does perform well in good lighting conditions. As soon as it gets a bit dark, a lot of noise introduced in the environment. You can see here too, a bit of noise is present. The flash does help at night, but it's really not that effective. This is the default headset you get with the device. You have seen these previously from Micromax. These sound just about alright, but if you want to listen to music, I would recommend getting your own pair. Any decent headphones would do. Now this is Play Music app. This one runs stock Android, so you have most of the Google apps already pre-installed. You also have the MediaTek equalizer too. So you can see that we have selected rock, you have several other presets, and you can also customize your own preset. FM radio is also available. It is able to locate channels really quickly. You can switch to the speakerphone. You can even record FM and it's stored in the SD card on the phone directly. Now we are playing a 1080p video and you can see that the video is playing clearly. There is no lag whatsoever. Smooth playback here. Now we are playing a YouTube video. It's our review of the Xiaomi Redmi 1S. The speakerphone here is actually quite loud. It's quite clear. And moreover, it doesn't get rattled at full volume. But the sound does get muffled when the phone is flat on its back. It runs stock Android 4.4.4 KitKat and that too with the default Google Now launcher. And you can access Google Now directly from the home screen by saying, OK Google. And there you go. It opens up the interface and you can simply start searching right away. So this works right out of the box. Not many apps came pre-installed. We have installed most of them. You did get Hide Messenger and some of Micromax apps and the Amazon store pre-installed, but that's just about it. Most of the Google apps came pre-installed. Now this is the default launcher. Long tapping on any home screen opens up the interface where you can add widgets, change the wallpaper. It's a very handy, very easy to use launcher and it has been optimized to run on this phone. It's very smooth. The animations are smooth as well. Now let's quickly jump into the notification shade. Everything is stock here. No added customization from Micromax. So Google will be updating these smartphones for the next 2 years. So an Android L update is definitely go for the Micromax Canvas A1. You can see it's running Android 4.4.4 and OTA updates are also available here on this phone. You have about 2.27 gigs of internal storage, out of which about 2 gigs was available right out of the box. You can add up to a 32 gig micro SD card. USB OTG is not supported, but app and app data can be moved to the external storage. Now you can see right here you have about 364 MB of RAM that's free. In general cases you have more than 400 MB RAM that's available. So a lot of optimization has gone under the hood. Now you can simply install an app like Manage Apps from the Play Store and you can see that apps are movable to the external SD card. Just tap on any of the apps and quickly you can simply move any of the apps that are compatible to your external storage to get more memory. In security, you do not have any special options. You do have face unlock, pattern, PIN and password. So you can choose whether you want to be more secure or simply use slide to unlock. Then you have Android Device Manager as your device administrator so that you can lock, erase or even find your device in case it gets lost. As I've said time and again, this phone runs a stock build of Android 4.4.4 KitKat, so it will be very easily upgradable to any other Android version, similarly to the Spice Dream Uno as well as the Carbon Sparkle 5. Now coming to the messaging app, this is the default keyboard. You'll be able to see that it features a gesture functionality that was unveiled with the AOSP build of the Android keyboard. Now we have loaded phonepunch.com. It's a mobile website that has opened up. You can see scrolling is smooth as is rendering. We didn't have any major issues with rendering on the device. And you can also see that even though the website is not loaded fully, smooth scrolling and smooth pinch to zoom as well. Even in terms of general performance, there is no lag in the device. It performed brilliantly in our gaming review. And moreover, this phone doesn't get hot when you are playing games. Multitasking is also a breeze. Apps open up quickly. You can switch between apps really quickly. Apps don't get killed even if you have multiple apps open. That's always a bonus, especially if you are a power user. Now this does take a toll on the battery life, but you can easily get more than 1 day of usage with this phone. I really like the build of this device. It feels really good to hold in the hand. Moreover, it performs brilliantly. The camera hump is something that I really don't like. But apart from that, it's a solid offering from Micromax running Android 4.4.4 KitKat with a promise of upgrades for the next 2 years directly from Google, just like the Nexus devices. We'll be back with more. Till then, you can watch its unboxing as well as gaming review from right here. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. It really does help. Also visit phonebunch.com for the latest news in mobile technology. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.